I mentioned this to Al Michaels when Al was in. If NBC's president for sports, Mark Lazarus, had to come in, it's you, me, and Al in here, and there's a fire, and you can protect one of us. Who is Mark Lazarus? The other two, we don't make it. Who do you think he comes in and protects?
You know, I think he says, thank you all for your lengthy service. We got to look down the road. We're protecting Liam McHugh.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe Dan
Josh
Hicks.
Elliott.
Right. You got to go with the next wave.
Okay.
But I think on any given Sunday, as somebody once said, I think the third most important person, no false modesty, is me. The second most important is you because of the highlights.
Yeah.
And Al's the most important because that's the biggest bulk and it's the game and he's the best at it.
All right. So if there's a fire during the football season, Al's the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can fit more neatly in the lifeboat, though. I could go on the raft. We might all be able to get out.
How much competition? Are you a competitive person?
Not really. Not when it comes to that.
But other broadcasters?
No. You know, I truly am someone who appreciates other broadcasters. I have my opinions and preferences like anybody else. The best example I can give you is when Joe Buck first came along. I first met Joe Buck, he was 7. You know, his dad, Jack, was kind of a mentor to me at KMOX in St. Louis. Now here's Joe Buck at 26 doing the World Series. By the time he's 30, he's pretty damn good. And all I felt was like, good for him. It's good to have another guy on the scene who's quite good. You know, anybody who's good is okay by me. And anybody who approaches it with some respect for the craft. There are general approaches to sportscasting I don't like, but you never hear me taking personal shots at anybody, and I'm never jealous of anybody else's success. You know, three people you just talked about, you, me, Dan, we all have different roles. Yeah. The show is better because each of us is there, and we don't threaten each other, at least not publicly.
If I said you could pick your last sporting event when you retire?
World Series.
It would, and if you pick the teams?
It almost wouldn't matter, but you'd want them to be teams that have some sort of history. Fans always think network announcers are rooting for one team or another, and almost always what we're rooting for is the closest possible game or the series to go 7.
Or great storylines.
Great storylines. So, you know, if the Cardinals played the Yankees or the Cubs, that's what you want. You want the Cubs.
Well, that's the last great story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cubs win.
I'd love to be able to call a World Series, which I'll probably never do again because of broadcast contracts, and that's fine because I had my chances. But if the Cubs were in a World Series and that was the one I did, so long. That'd be good.
You would walk off. Yeah, that'd be a walk off.
Well, it depends. If it was next year, maybe not.
It's not going to happen next year. Trust me, the Cubs aren't. Yeah,
Theo Epstein told me it's not going to be next year.
It's not going to be next year. Fritzy, what do you have for me?
Derek Carr is going to give us a buzz in about 10 minutes on the big upset win over the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk to the Raiders rookie Derek Carr, who will join us coming up next hour. So you're going to the Meadowlands to talk to Odell Beckham Jr.
I am.
Okay. Well, I will see you Sunday night.
Any suggested questions?
I don't know. You bring up guns.
Odell, you packing? Is it legally registered?
Oh, Bob. Here we go. What do you think of the Redskins thing? Thanks for stopping by. As always, Bob.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Dan.
He's Bob Costas.
Good to see Danettes.
Football Night in America.